Today we are checking out Seth's new video, Elden Ring review, Dark Souls 4 Dung Eater Edition. Now, finally, he has reviewed a game that I have played, or at least played a bit, because I've watched quite a few Seth videos, and I have not, I've heard of some of the games, but I'd never played any of them. And he usually reviews super old games, like from 20 years ago, that, you need to install off weird websites. They don't even get on Steam anymore. Without further ado, let's go.
Hey people, Seth here. The following is highly experimental and may come off as disjointed or schizophrenic. I don't care. Elden Ring, the newest hot release by Hideo Miyazaki of Ghibli Studios, famous for classic animations such as Howl's Moving Mausoleum and My Invader Totoro from Software.
You know, that really caught me off guard the first time one of those NPCs invade, because I haven't played that many Dark Souls games. I've played like 30 odd hours of Dark Souls 1 recently. I got to Ornstein and Smaug, and then I just fought them so many times I didn't beat them. And then Elden Ring came out, so I started playing that. The other two, Dark Souls 2 and Dark Souls 3, I haven't played a lot of. I played a few hours of each of them.
Have really outdone themselves, as this game features not one, but two crustaceans, possibly
True, there's
more.
lobsters.
Unfortunately, I haven't unlocked the ability to swim, so I cannot confirm or deny that. The game begins, and I make my character. His name, Sambubu. His class.
Okay, dude. He looks like a troll face. He's got a troll face chin, bro.
Or deny that. The game begins, and I make my character. His name, Sambubu. His class, naturally, is wretched. I did originally consider prisoner, but I chose not to. I take the key
Jesus Christ. I think I picked samurai.
Item and live to regret it after I get immediate access to a side dungeon and get run over repeatedly by a speeding train. I chosen
not the golden key, the golden seed.
Instead, to go the other way.
Jesus
After camping
Christ.
a few times, Melina comes by and offers me an accord. I turn it down because I think it's funny. I then proceed to kill Morgott and Godric before I realize I haven't leveled up. How was I supposed to know I had to say yes? Miyazaki, just because I'm offered the ability to talk to a woman doesn't mean I'm going to take it. I think that's a symptom of bad design. Conversely, I fell for...
I learned my lesson in Dark Souls 1 when I had to speak to somebody and I didn't speak to them. I just was like, yeah, I refused, and I couldn't progress with the game. Like, I had to go back, I had to leave and come back to speak to him again to progress with the game, which was annoying. So now I just accept everything, except this woman. I did not accept this woman, I can confirm.
For the oldest trick in a book, the warm embrace of a woman's lap, only to find out 100 hours later, it's actually a debuff. What did they mean by this? I guess I'll have to consult a 40-minute lore video to figure out the true symbology behind this item description. I tell you, passive storytelling at its very best, especially when half a characters either disappear, die, or start T-posing during your playthrough. This might bother people who believe there's a story, which is the equivalent of finding a bunch of random notes and thinking to yourself, damn, that book was wild.
Morg is desperately trying to get Mikilla pregnant. Mikilla, dude. Right, isn't that her brother?
Halo's plot is crazy. Have you not read all the secret terminals? On the bright side, Dark Souls lore channels now have a steady source of bread for the next 4 years. I assure you, you'll know every side character better than your own family. I don't remember which war Granddad was fighting, but I do know Patches. I know that, canonically, he is circumcised. Honestly, I don't judge. I still get to have my wife Ronnie. What I'm criticizing is the involvement of this fat fuck. Celebrated offer, helping to weave the narrative experience. Okay, let's see what this dude wrote. Sunset found her squatting in the grass, groaning. Every stool was looser than the one before and smelled fouler. By the time the moon came up, she was shitting brown water. The more she drank, the more she shat, but the more she shat, the thirstier she grew, and her thirst sent her crawling to the stream to suck up more water. I rest my...
Wait, there's no way that's really in the Game of Thrones.
J.R.R. Martin is the greatest author who has ever lived.
George Raymond Richard Martin.
He has also never finished his books, and so, fittingly, From Software has embodied the spirit of J.R.R. Martin by never finishing a single quest line. Elden Ring is an
I will say this, using summons... I was streaming Elden Ring and I was told using summons is cheating. But to be fair, using summons does make it way easier. Like the first time I fought Margit, I was like, what is this thing? Because you can summon people right by the fight on certain fights. So I summoned the dude that's there next to Margit, and it made the fight too easy. So I kind of just threw the fight towards the end so I could beat him legitimately. And yeah, it took me a while, but I did beat him.
platformer, and if you disagree, you haven't played the game, because half this game is jumping with a head start, or falling into a hole, into a canyon, into the place you originally wanted to, but accidentally jumped before doing so, adding an extra foot to the height of your fall, which turned it into a lethal descent. There's nothing I love more than jumping awkwardly off rooftops, but how do we spice it up? Archers. You love archers. They're on every roof, and they've got tracking. And guess what? The sewer levels are back. And this time, they're essential to the plot. Yeah, I'm thinking game of the year. Calling the mountain your game, Torrent. Absolute genius. So, anybody...
Nah, the two annoying things, the archers are so annoying, especially if you accidentally, because you can teleport to random places in this game. If you go to a place where you're under-leveled, the archers just fuck you up. And they do have lock-on, bro. They have aim assist. They're playing on controller, bro. It's a joke. And the dungeons, I feel like the further you get in the game, the dungeon bosses don't particularly get harder. Like, maybe they double the boss, so instead of having one, you have two things to fight. But they make the dungeons more difficult by just adding a shit ton of mobs. Like, those fucking green imps are so annoying, and they deal so much damage.
Googling Elden Ring torrent gets a bunch of horse pictures instead. I can't wait until Elden Ring 2 features the popular and beloved character Codex de Nuvo pre-cracked no virus. But why are we here?
Oh, dude. Oh, wait, I gotta take another screenshot.
We're here for the difficulty because we're hardcore gamers. Take it from me. I've already beaten the final boss, John Elden Ring, so I can get
Elden
Have
Ring.
you ever used a weapon, armor, fast travel, potions, or opened the world map? I'm sorry to say, but you're playing the game wrong. This game is meant to be played level 1 as a wretch, using a single club, no upgrades. If you disagree, I'll call you a casual. If you ever hear someone talking like this, take pity on them, because this behavior is characteristic of someone who stacks no paper and gets no bitches. This game isn't hard, not because it's not hard, but because video games fundamentally aren't hard. You know what's hard? The circumstances of life, getting a degree, having a stable family, being born with a baby arm. You're born and one arm develops normally into an adult arm, but the other is this stunted mini child arm, which stops growing at like 3 years of age. So you're this freakish monstrosity.
That weapon is... I hear this weapon's incredibly overpowered, but I haven't got to it yet.
Baby Arm Man, and the only job you'll ever have is baby arm stock photo, because it's harder for them to get a kid to pose for that. It's a lot more convenient to have a malformed monstrosity on standby. Furthermore, I genuinely believe that pattern recognition is a...
What has happened here? What is that? Plants feed zombies. What's going on?
Form of cheating. Your Homo sapiens brain is literally destroying the difficulty of the experience by compensatory adaptation. I hope that people consider this in the future and later learn to recognize that the truest From Software experience would be a lobotomite run, where prior to playing, we perform a frontal lobotomy and sever your prefrontal cortex. Sometimes the only option you have to preserve the purity of your experience is brain damage. Multiplayer enhances the experience. Sometimes you'll see white phantoms briefly appear. These are players from other worlds going through their own journey.
Bloodhound Fang. That's the one I got.
I saw a white phantom appear, teabagging a dead NPC. In this moment, I knew I was playing a masterpiece. Messages and appraisal are exactly how Reddit users believe karma works. You upvote, and you get actual physical nourishment from the karma. Oh look, a message on the floor. Maybe someone out there will tell me something useful. Then you open it and read it, only to see dog butthole closely
Oh my days. That is true. Some of the messages are useful, but like, there'll be like no item ahead, and then you'll go there anyway because you don't know if the message is trolling you, because the people that leave the messages, you can never tell whether it's a troll or whether they're actually being serious. Sometimes they are being nice. Most of the time they're not.
Followed by Fortnite. According to a true story, once upon a time, Miyazaki's car broke down in the middle of a road. This was during winter, so no help was to be found, when suddenly 3 strangers appeared out of nowhere, sucked him off, and left without even saying a word. And that's how Miyazaki got the inspiration for Souls multiplayer. Gameplay, flawless, stunning, effervescent, just like Bloodborne was a complex allegory for sexually transmitted HIV. Elden Ring is a rich synesthesia between seeing Swampland and remembering Blighttown or hearing Leyendell long after you've left the capital. Because
I remember I was in Blighttown on DS1. I was playing it recently. and my weapon, I only had one weapon that was moderately useful for the boss there, which is the spider lady. I had one weapon that was moderately upgraded that was kind of useful, and it broke, or it became compromised, so it was hitting for no damage. So I had to try and navigate my way out to get it repaired. That was long.
Ears are still ringing from the sound of those fucking trumpets. Actual, real critique. No jokes, no giggles. I think every boss should have a stake of America outside the boss field.
I agree.
Generally, this is true, but sometimes I gotta walk. And traditionally, I do not consider cardio as part of a boss fight.
True.
Now, the walks are more generous than any other Souls game. But
That's also
just because
true.
somebody chose to take a smaller shit in my rice doesn't change the fact that it's still there.
I
Inside
agree.
my bowl, steaming up my Tupperware. I would also have
Jesus Christ. Yeah, I mean, that analogy is great. I fully agree. The one thing I really didn't like about Dark Souls is you lose to the boss and you have to run for 5 minutes to get back to the boss. And it just makes you more angry. It gives you more time to stew on it. And it gives more stakes because you know if you lose again, you got to run past all these enemies. Usually you got to run past enemies as well, and it's like hitting you. And then, like, it just gets annoying. Half of the bosses in this game, you spawn right next to them. In some of them, you don't, and you got to do the run. And it is quite irritating when you do have to do that run.
Have originally said that the death screen is quite long, but then I realized it's working as intended. You see, when you die in PvP, you have no option but to watch helplessly as someone spams point down and repeatedly defiles your dead body. My complaints are pretty mild. If, like me, you didn't realize Vigor has a non-linear scaling, it would have helped immensely to know that going 10 to 20 makes no tangible difference, but 20 to 40 is all the difference between taking a blow and getting one-tapped by most of the game. I wish I knew that at the start. Luckily, this game is very generous with its ability to reroll your character. If you're still paranoid, you can...
Wait, why did he have 50 arcane? What the hell?
Very generous with its ability...
Let me see. His stats are very, very strange. What has he done here? Or are these someone else's stats? 50 arcane, 35 dex, 50 vigor. I'm not gonna lie, my stats are all over the shop, bro. I never know what to upgrade. I just upgrade my health. My dexterity is at like a minimum level to where I can use the weapons I want to use, and then I just put strength because most of the cool weapons require strength.
To reroll your character. If you're still paranoid, you can back up your save at no risk. I've done this more than 100 times without issue and recommend you do the same because despite what anybody says, there's a million ways to brick your save. I've done it, I can reproduce it, it's still there. Also, easy anti-cheat is a very good anti-cheat because it's very easy to turn off. My friend may have done exactly that and more. Tell me, Seth, was he punished? Is he banned? No, some of the later fights have interesting...
I've seen quite a few people
not like I care. I cheesed through that shit. This game makes you realize the greatest companion you'll ever have is yourself. So why not make a copy? Lore. Before continuing, we have to stop and talk about the best character in the game.
I haven't found him yet, man. I want to find this guy.
Dung Eater. Loathsome Dung Eater. Ferocious feaster of feces. Devious doo-doo devourer. Dung Eater consumes excrement, feces, shit even, nihilistic, and with a wicked sense of humor. His greatest desire is to eat the poo-poo and of course murder you and defile your dead body. I think there's a lot we can learn from Dung Eater, but as a society, we're not yet ready for that conversation. Builds. There's many builds. Strength is terrible until you realize you can power stance through the entire game and block everything else with barricade shield for 0 stamina. Going strength, unfortunately, puts you at the highest risk group for naming yourself the Black Swordsman and cosplaying as your favorite slice of life anime. If I see you doing this, I'll summon you intentionally so I can kick you for my world. Dexterity. Do you enjoy katanas? How about double katanas, each one longer than the last, using realistic, historically accurate sword techniques from
the fucking
feudal-era
OP
Japan?
millennium.
Epic
Fucking dance
PvP
thingy.
compilations. Say no more. Get a river of blood today. Intelligence. Some would say a great deal of their enjoyment comes from learning the moveset of every boss. A rhythmic dance between sword, swipe, and parry. A lethal symphony.
How many times did he knock this guy off the map?
Others would disagree. I'm confident that if you ask any player running sorcery what's their favorite boss, they'll recoil in surprise and say, I don't know any. I just sit at the back and spam Azure Comet. Faith. Incantations are very good. Abusing the animation of Catch Flame to cast them instantaneously is even better. And before you say it, I know It's working exactly as intended. You know what else is intended? This. Also, this. And this. My greatest enjoyment of this game, beyond the exploration, the richness of the graphics, and the scale of the world they made, has been abusing every mechanic I possibly can before it gets patched out. And so, inevitably,
that's one thing I've noticed by watching Elden Ring videos of like builds or like weapon like thingy, like what weapons are good. A lot of the time, it's just the overpowered broken mechanics. Like I see people using Rivers of Blood Katana, which I think adds bleed damage, and then like it moves pretty quick and it does a shit ton of damage when it hits bleed. You can dual wield certain weapons and they'll do a shit ton of damage when you just, like he showed with the strength build. I saw a guy wielding 2 big ass hammers. I think you need 50 odd strength for it or something, and then he just jumps, he does that attack, and it drops the boss like half health. It's kind of insane.
To abusing other players. You might call them humans. I call them people who use Moonveil unironically. And thus, I feel no remorse for any of my actions. In summary, Elden Ring attracts many different responses.
What is
Some
that?
fillet the long shaft of
Glintstone dragon
endlessly. Others hate
That's
it
the dragon that disappeared when I took him down to half health.
Incompetence. Walking manifestations of a Dunning-Kruger effect. These people believe that failure is not their own and somehow inflicted upon them by the universe. You can't be bad at video games, as video games are merely a subject matter. No, that is a deficit in your cognitive ability, something that likely plagues you in every aspect of your life. In summary, if you're bad at video games, you're bad at life. You've got a smooth brain and a low IQ. Your fate is to be a grunt in the New World Order, and then there's others, like me, who are quietly waking up to the fact that maybe we should have never dropped those bombs to begin with. I guess what I'm trying to say is Elden Scrolls, 10 out of 10, garbage. I love it. As always, more content to come, so stay tuned. If you're interested in some merchant multiplayer, password FUGHUNT goes in all fields. First 52 Invade get a 15% off their first month of FUGHunters.com, the official sponsor of this video. And now, allow me to conclude this presentation with some calming visuals. Rest assured, most of the things seen here can no longer be afflicted on another human being. A warm thanks to the many members of the Merchants Guild generously funding and bankrolling these videos. Funny. You're all truly wonderful. Have a good one.
Is there Easter egg? Or is it just him fighting people? I love how he's got just so many Patreons that like it just goes forever. That's crazy. Hey man, he deserves it though. He can't deny that. It's like the credits at the end of a Marvel scene, a Marvel movie. Although I wish it went this fast.
Yep, that's all I needed, baby.
It's amazing.
Calling Hideo Miyazaki at 3 a.m.
But why?
Hello? 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 Hideo Miyazaki?
Never call that drama again!
It sounds like my man has been calling that number multiple times and the guy's just pissed. Oh, he just found some random Japanese guy online and he just started calling him every night. That's hilarious. Hey man, this video was hilarious. I feel like he tried to make this video as quick as possible, because sometimes it just felt weirdly disjointed, but other than that, it was hilarious. I will criticize him for using summons. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, that is that, ladies and gentlemen. Excellent video from Seth as always. It's nice to finally understand most of the jokes in the video and understand what's going on, because I've watched quite a few of his videos in my life. And like I said before, most of the games that he has played or he has reviewed, I have no idea about any of them. But this is the first one I've actually played personally, and I am currently playing. So when you can understand it, it makes it a whole lot funnier, and hopefully people don't get triggered at me for not understanding the jokes and the lore. You know, I've had people get angry. They're like, "Hey, Tony, what's going on, man? You don't know what's this? You missed this joke. You missed that joke. Yeah, well, I haven't played the game. Okay, but yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that is it. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you're new. If you want to watch me play Elden Ring, Twitch link in the description, and I'll see you all